What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Now, I'm not going to talk for too long, but last video we checked out. Hold on, why is the monitor sideways? There we go. Now it's better, I think. Last video we checked out one of the most athletic players ever in basketball, in Ja Morant. The guy is absolutely insane, so be sure to check that video out. Today, we're going to take a little break from the highlights, and we're going to react to another story type video. So it's story time today. Today we're going to be watching and reacting to the story behind Kyrie Irving, one of the greatest players ever. Now, I've done one video on Kyrie, and it was a highlight video at least a month ago, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even more. So I've been meaning to circle back to. I actually replied to a comment from the Morant video. I've been meaning to circle back to Kyrie and Kevin Durant. There's a video for Kevin Durant I've had my eyes on. It's by Post 2K, so you already know it's going to be a good video. But it's sorry, not Kyrie. It's going to be Kevin Durant's time in the with the Golden State Warriors. Now that should be a great video to watch and react to. So today we're going to be watching Kyrie, and then the next video, which will be uploaded on Saturday, will be Kevin Durant with the Golden State Warriors. Now, we've checked out the accolades for Kyrie in the previous video, I'm pretty sure. So we're not going to go too deep into, finding out more about Kyrie, because this video pretty much is the story behind Kyrie. Now, I'm going to leave the video in the description. Shout out to the score for this video. We reacted to, I think it was the Giannis' story through this channel. And that seemed to be pretty good. So again, I don't know how accurate the information presented in this video will be. So if there's anything missing, let me know in the comments. And if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and hit the subscribe button. It does help the channel a lot. We are on the way to 2,000 subscribers. And I appreciate all the support you guys have been showing me thus far. So, I reckon I've spoken enough. I think I've spoken enough. I got my aminos and creatine here. Hope you guys have your drinks and snacks ready. And let's get to watching.
Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good! Kyrie Irving from downtown! Irving working on Thomas.
Also, side note, he was born in Melbourne. Was he born in Melbourne? He was born in Melbourne, Australia. I live in Melbourne, Australia. Australia myself.
Irving is 9 of 9, a steal. Irving at the horn. Oh, Kyrie! He is not human.
Since entering the NBA as the #1 overall pick in 2011, Kyrie Irving has emerged as one of the league's most dazzling talents. But he's also become one of the sporting world's most polarizing stars. So how did this Australian-born kid become such an entertaining enigma?
Tell us. Come on.
This is the story behind Kyrie Irving.
I'm excited for this one, guys.
Kyrie was born to Frederick and Elizabeth Irving in Melbourne, spending the first 2 years of his life in Australia while his pops, who failed to make the Celtics after a collegiate career at Boston University, played professional basketball down under. After relocating to the States, Irving grew up in West Orange, New Jersey, where his love for the game and his grand ambitions for the future took shape. Irving lost his mother to a sudden illness when he was only 4, leaving Frederick to raise Kyrie and his 2 sisters as a single father. The former pro would even bring his children to his Pro-Am or Men's League games in the New York area. They would sit at the end of the bench and watch. If they needed something, I'd call a timeout and tend to the kids.
I love that.
Kyrie soaked up his father's passion, and after playing on the then New Jersey Nets court as a 4th grader during a trip with his youth team, Irving penned the following note: "I will play in the NBA. I promise." As Irving matured, that grade 4 promise began to look like a realistic option for the talented young guard. Irving's high school career tipped off at Montclair Kimberly Academy, but seeking a greater challenge after dominating as a freshman and sophomore, he transferred to St. Patrick's High School, where he would share the court with Michael Kidd-Gilchrist and establish himself as one of the best point guard prospects in the nation.
Nice.
Breakaway jam good for number 11, Kyrie Irving.
It's worth highlighting how much of an unknown Kyrie was when he arrived at Powerhouse St. Patrick. As teammate Christopher Gibson described, he didn't have facial hair, had a big head. He just looked like a squirrel. We called him Squirrel Boy. How are you supposed to be good? And we never
Squirrel Boy? Damn, man.
even heard your name before. By the end of his high school career, Irving was an All-American, was featured on the U.S. Junior National Select Team, and was considered the second best recruit in the class of 2010, behind Harrison Barnes. His next arena to conquer was Cameron Indoor Stadium. As Kyrie committed to Coach K and Duke, joining a typically loaded Blue Devils team that included Seth Curry, Kyle Singler,
Steph Curry.
Ryan Kelly, remember him, and the Plumlee brothers. Irving delivered for Duke early on, averaging better than 17 points and 5 assists on 53% shooting.
Wait, did he say Steph Curry?
Loaded Blue Devils team that included Seth Curry,
Steph Curry? Am I tripping?
Kyle Singler, Ryan Kelly, remember him, and the Plumlee brothers. Irving delivered for Duke early
Who was that? Steph? Did he say Steph?
on, averaging better than 17 points and 5 assists on 53% shooting in his first 8 NCAA games.
See, this Duke team plays much faster than the team did last year.
That guy is a big reason why.
Oh, dude. That was amazing.
As the tough layup goes for Irving.
Before the injury bug took its first of many bites out of him. Kyrie injured his right big toe in Duke's 9th game of the season, and didn't return until the NCAA tournament, where he led the Blue Devils to the Sweet 16. Kyrie poured in 28 points on 9 of 15 shooting against Arizona, but it wasn't enough. Duke's season came to a disappointing end, and Irving declared for the draft after only suiting up in 11 games for the Blue Devils. Despite that
I
limited
mean, hey, he was confident in his skills and he declared for the draft.
collegiate action, Irving was basically considered a consensus #1 pick by the time the 2011 draft rolled around, where the Cleveland Cavaliers, fresh off their first season of futility in the original post-LeBron era, owned the #1 pick.
With the first pick in the 2011 NBA Draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers select Kyrie Irving from Duke University.
There he is.
As had been the case at Duke, Kyrie made the most of his limited time as an NBA freshman, averaging better than 18 points and 5 assists as a 19-year-old rookie during the lockout-shortened 2011-12 season, while shooting a hair under 40% from deep.
9 on the clock. 7 on the clock.
Beautiful, man.
Irving spins in traffic and gets a layup.
That was clean. We gotta watch that again. We gotta watch that again. Look at that.
Irving spins in traffic and gets a layup with 2.6 on the clock.
The Cavs didn't come close to sniffing the playoffs that year, but the Rookie of the Year's ascension to becoming a household name continued during the postseason anyway, as it was during the spring of 2012 that we were first introduced to Uncle Drew.
Yes, I saw this video. I've seen this one before. So I watched Uncle Drew. I saw this one way before I knew about basketball. Now, I don't remember. Like, I think when they revealed it was Kyrie, I'm like, oh, who the hell is Kyrie? I'm like, oh, some basketball player. Fast forward a couple of years now, like, oh, it's Kyrie. You know, it's him.
Don't reach, young blood. Don't reach. Don't reach, young blood.
Between the success of those Pepsi ads and Irving's production on the court, it didn't take long to figure out Kyrie would soon be one of the faces of the NBA. And by the end of his 3rd season in the league, 22-year-old Kyrie was already a 20-plus per game scorer, a 2-time All-Star, and an All-Star Game MVP.
At 20 years old, and he's already achieved all of that.
While
That just shows you how, man, some of these players are just naturally gifted. And but I mean, okay, when I say naturally gifted, I mean they have the athleticism and the skill needed to be professional. Of course, you have to put in the work. But some of these players, man, they're just born with it. You know, they were meant to be playing basketball.
Teasing the clutch heroics that would come in the future.
Sizing up Anderson, long three.
Oh, man.
I cannot believe you've done it again.
As other youngsters have come to understand, however, it doesn't take long for fresh-faced NBA stars to go from endearing golden boys in the eyes of fans and pundits to magnets for criticism, with every flaw picked apart.
I mean, look, that's just the reality of things back then, even now, right? No matter how good you do, you're gonna have the haters. You're gonna have people like, oh, but he did this, he didn't do that. You know, they'll find the smallest thing or some mistake you've done. It may not even be that big of a mistake, and they'll try and make it and spin it to be a big mistake. Now, I know Kyrie had to deal with some drama off court, which yeah, I mean, affected his image and everything. I'm sure this video will get to it, but yeah, I mean, people, some dickheads out there, man.
The knock on Kyrie was obvious. No one doubted how entertaining of a baller he was. But through 3 individually productive seasons, the Cavs had compiled a record of 78 wins and 152 losses.
Damn.
With Irving missing 49 games due to various injuries over those 3 seasons. The guy was barely into his early 20s and was already being labeled the type of empty-calorie star you can't win with. Luckily for Cavs fans, they would no longer have to worry about whether a team led by Kyrie Irving could win, because thanks in large part to Irving's presence in Cleveland, LeBron was willing to return in 2014, and after winning the lottery for the 3rd time in 4 years, Cleveland later traded #1 overall pick Andrew Wiggins to Minnesota in a summer blockbuster for Kevin Love. In the span of weeks, Kyrie went from the best player on a terrible, irrelevant team to the 2nd or 3rd best player on a loaded, all-time team with championship expectations.
So I'm not too sure who that is. I haven't, until this video, I haven't heard of him. Let me know though in chat. I streamed last night, so like chat, comments, just all mixed up. Let me know in the comments. Should I check him out? And was this, so this was during LeBron's 2nd run with the Cavaliers, right?
Give him a good angle to make the pass, and LeBron lays it in.
The James Irving Love Big Three would go to 4 straight finals.
James.
But a lot happened along the way. After Kelly Olynyk tried to pull Kevin Love's arm apart like a chicken wing in the
Okay, so that's Kevin. So we got Kevin, James, and Kyrie.
first round of the 2015 playoffs, Irving suffered a knee fracture in Game 1 of the finals, leaving LeBron and Matthew Dellavedova all alone in a valiant 6-game defeat
I don't know who Matthew is.
against Golden State's emerging dynasty. A year later, Kyrie and the Cavs would redeem themselves in the most iconic way possible, rallying back from a 3-1 deficit against the 73-win Warriors in the 2016 finals, with Irving matching James's 41 points in Game 5 and then knocking down one of the biggest shots in NBA history in Game 7.
Trying to get him on Irving.
Oh, shit.
Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
Every story needs a climax.
I can't imagine what the atmosphere was like back then with the 2016 finals. And just the finals before, yeah, you know, I'd say from before 2020, you know, that would have, you know, that was like a different era of basketball, you know, the 2000 teens, I want to call it. I wish I would have been watching basketball then, man. Dude, it just would have been so much fun.
And for Irving and the Cavs, things would only unravel from there. The Cavs barely had time to flush the champagne out of their system before learning that those 73-win Warriors would be adding Kevin Durant, and that for all intents
And that's the video I'm going to be watching after this one.
and purposes, though LeBron would never accept it, Cleveland and the rest of the league would now be playing for 2nd place. The 2016-17 version of the Cavs was actually the best team Cleveland fielded during its 4-year finals run, and Irving put together perhaps his finest season, averaging roughly 25 points and 6 assists
Oh, shit.
on 47, 40, 91 shooting splits, while suiting up for 72 games. But those mighty 2017 Cavs ran into the mightier Warriors. who swiftly dispatched of Cleveland in 5
My
games.
My team, by the way. Go Warriors.
And despite the team's success as a whole, tensions began boiling over well before the finals, leading to speculation throughout the season that perhaps the James Irving partnership wasn't made for the long haul.
I think a lot of it's been overblown. I think the people that are in this building every day haven't seen any of that animosity. This is, and along with Kevin Love, this is a group that has got us to 3 straight finals and won an NBA championship together. They play great together on the floor.
You know, on a side note, when I started watching basketball and uploading these videos and everything, I didn't expect to read the amount of, I don't know if I want to call it hate, animosity against LeBron, or as a lot of people like to call him, LeFlop. They've been telling me about how he complains a lot, switches between teams, misses his shots, shouldn't be considered as one of the greats, average at best. Now, I'm going to stay neutral, all right? I've got no hate for any player. Especially I've only been watching for like 2.5 months. I don't have hate towards anyone. So I'm not going to be like, oh, the hell with LeBron, he sucks, he's overrated, blah, blah, blah. I've seen only 2 videos on LeBron. That's it. And I saw him playing this year's playoff, but he was at 40 years old. I didn't see him in 2016, 17, 18, 19, even before. But it's crazy, man. I didn't expect to see those comments.
And a lot of
I have to say, though, some of them are actually quite funny.
that I do think is overblown, and we haven't seen a lot of this animosity that sort of have been out there in the media.
It was also during the 2016-17 season that the world got its first whiff of Kyrie's asinine flat earther beliefs and his affinity for conspiracy theories.
This is not even conspiracy.
The Earth is flat.
Yeah, no, the Earth is flat.
Oh, here we go.
The Earth is flat.
Yeah.
I think you need to do research.
Interesting.
Like ultimately,
But
I'm
who's
not
to
gonna,
say the research that you do is going to give you the answer? Like,
Oh, it's-
who
oh, it's
actually
good.
has the answer?
because it's right in front of our faces. I'm telling you, it's right in front of our faces.
On that same podcast with teammates Richard Jefferson and Channing Frye, Irving also went into theories about the Federal Reserve assassinating JFK and the CIA trying to kill Bob Marley. Kyrie did apologize to science teachers the next year, but it probably didn't help his case in the court of public opinion that the tongue-in-cheek apology came in the same conversation that included these words.
Voice, and even if you believe in that, it's like you just well, don't come out and say that stuff. That's for intimate conversations, because perception, how you're received, it just changes. Like, no, I'm actually a smart-ass individual. Like, no, it's just so it's not like.
Anyway, Irving demanded a trade.
Okay, this is new information for me. All right, so he's into the conspiracy theories and tinfoil hat kind of stuff. All right, Kyrie. I mean, I don't agree with the flat Earth stuff, but hey, man, each to their own. I mean, there you go. I said tinfoil hat. Where's that video? Look at that thumbnail. 3 hours and 50 minutes. Holy shit.
The summer of 2017, and reports later emerged that Kyrie would have been willing to skip training camp if he didn't get his way. The Cavs granted his wish, sending Kyrie to Boston in a landscape-changing deal that included Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, Ante Zizic, a 2018 first-round pick that turned into Colin Sexton, and a 2020 second-rounder. Landing in Boston seemingly should have been everything Kyrie wanted. He got his own team away from LeBron's shadow, was now the man in a bigger market, and was the face of one of the NBA's marquee franchises, which also still gave him a chance to compete for titles. But the Celtics' Kyrie era was doomed from the beginning. With Gordon Hayward, Boston's prized free agent signing during the same summer of 2017 they acquired Irving, suffering a horrific leg injury in the first quarter on opening night of the 2017-18
Man, injuries suck.
season. Kyrie himself missed 22 games during the regular season, and then the entire playoffs due to continued left knee issues. Except the Celtics thrived in Irving's absence, with young players like Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart, and rookie phenom Jason Tatum proving more than capable, and Boston pushed LeBron's Cavs all the way to a Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. On one hand, the way Irving's first season in Boston played out had us wondering how important the perennial all-star really was to a winning basketball team. On the other hand, it was impossible not to imagine how high the Celtics ceiling was with all that aforementioned young talent and a healthy Kyrie.
Let's go Celtics.
Irving entered the 2018-19 campaign with 1 year left on his contract. But he also told Celtics season seat holders this shortly before the season tipped off. Okay, side note here. Never assume you know what an NBA star's future plans are. Things can change quickly in the association, especially for stars who wield the power. Anyway, back to the 2018-19 Celtics. The team many thought had championship potential looked broken and disjointed from the beginning. And despite another brilliant individual season from Kyrie, Boston stumbled to 49 wins before flaming out in the second round against Milwaukee. Rumblings of locker room tension plagued the Celtics all year. The season became a referendum on Irving's leadership style, or rather lack of leadership. And by the end of it, one of the NBA's worst kept secrets was that the guy who pledged his allegiance to Celtics fans in October would be long gone as a free agent by July.
Okay.
On the first day of free agency, Irving ended whatever suspense actually existed, joining Kevin Durant in Brooklyn. A flat earther and a perpetually online burner king. What could go wrong?
Are you being sarcastic, dude?
The Nets would have to navigate year one of this experiment without KD, who was still rehabbing his Achilles. So with the rubble in Boston still burning behind him, Kyrie would get another chance to lead a young team. It began with such promise, as Irving dropped 50 points on the Timberwolves in an opening night
50 points is crazy.
overtime loss.
Irving lost his footing, regathers, fire!
And oh no.
Off the mark at the horn, and the Timberwolves win it in overtime. On a night where Kyrie Irving
1 point difference.
scored 50 points in his Nets debut, Brooklyn comes up short.
As has become the norm for Kyrie-led teams, however, the good times and good vibes wouldn't last, with more injuries and reported chemistry issues derailing yet another season. Irving suited up for only 20 games, as shoulder and knee injuries plagued him all year before he was finally ruled out for the season to have his right shoulder surgically repaired. We should note that Celtics fans didn't need Kyrie in the building for them to let his new teammates know how Boston felt about it.
Wow.
Which spurred this post-game Instagram story. Sorry, I mean novel.
Well, that's like a Star Wars intro right there.
In so many ways, this season was the perfect encapsulation of Kyrie's confounding career. When he actually took the court, Irving was individually sublime, averaging 27.4 points, 6.4 assists, and 5.2 rebounds on 48, 39, 92 shooting in less than 33 minutes per game, topping 50 points twice despite only playing in 20 games. Kyrie may be a defensive liability, but his transcendent offensive abilities are undeniable, and they always have been. He's got the best handle on the planet, absurd shooting range, an even crazier layup package to finish at the rim, and he pairs all that with a point guard's vision. But again, he only played in 20 games. The Nets were only 0.1 points per 100 possessions better with Kyrie on the court as opposed to on the bench. And Brooklyn posted a better record with Kyrie out than they did when he was in the lineup.
Interesting.
Off the court, his quote-unquote mood swings were reportedly a concern for the Nets during his first month with the team. And at one point in January, he had to clarify comments he made about Brooklyn's roster that appeared to target some of the team's younger players.
Glaring in terms of the pieces that we need in order for us to be at that next level. And I'm gonna continue to reiterate it. You know, we're gonna do the best with the guys that we have within our locker room now. And, you know, we worry about all the other stuff in terms of moving pieces and everything else as an organization down the line. Collectively, I feel like we have great pieces, but obviously it's pretty glaring that we need, you know, one more piece or two more pieces that will complement myself, KD, DJ, GT, Spence, Karras, and, you know, we'll see how that evolves.
When the Nets and head coach Kenny Atkinson parted ways, Most assumed Irving, Durant, and fellow Nets newcomer DeAndre Jordan had something to do with it. At 28 years old, Kyrie Irving is a 6-time All-Star, an NBA champion, an All-Star Game MVP, and has won gold medals with Team USA at both the 2016 Olympics and 2014 World Cup.
There you go.
Since he entered the NBA in 2011, only 12 players have scored more points. But as his team's best player, Irving has led a team.
Hold on. Let's have a look at this list. Number 1, James Harden. LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Damian Lillard, Kevin Durant, DeMar DeRozan. Okay, that's a name I haven't seen before. Steph Curry, Kemba Walker, that's a new name as well. LaMarcus, Anthony Davis, Paul, Clay, and then Kyrie at number 13.
Only 12 players have scored more points. But as his team's best player, Irving has led a team into the playoffs only once. He's missed more than a quarter of his team's games due to injury over the course of his 9-year career, and averaged just 54 games per season over the last 5 years. He's also missed 30 of 91 potential playoff games. Kyrie's a flat earther who's seen as a terrible locker room leader from the outside looking in. Yet his peers elected him to be the Players Association's new vice president. And it was Kyrie who fought to ensure younger players who felt powerless during NBA restart negotiations would have a voice in those talks, especially when it came to how the league would continue the push for social justice amidst nationwide protests in the wake of George Floyd's killing.
Oh, that was in 2020,
A
yeah.
couple months after Kyrie was seen as the disruptor for reportedly pushing players to consider sitting out and even consider starting a player-run league, playoff teams ended up boycotting 3 days of postseason play in the aftermath of the police shooting of Jacob Blake. Depending on where you stand, Kyrie Irving could be seen as a generational basketball genius or an injury-prone basketball fraud, an off-court headache with a sketchy anti-science past, or a misunderstood, ahead-of-his-time humanitarian. The 2019-20 season did little to dispel any of those possibilities. As a Cavs source told Howard Beck in 2018, Irving can be as big an asshole as you deal with, and then he can be as genuine and real and engaging. One thing we can say for certain is that the basketball world is a hell of a lot more interesting with Kyrie Irving in it.
I agree.
Thanks for watching.
I agree.
If you like this video and want to see more...
Well, that was a great video, man. It gave us a good insight about Kyrie's life, his career. Now, look, this is really the only video I've seen to do with Kyrie's story and who he is as a person. So I don't really have a solid opinion. I can't really say much from my end. So I'm gonna leave it for you guys who've been watching the sport and watching Kyrie for, as long as he's been playing, or as long as you guys have been watching. Pretty much all of you guys have been watching basketball for years. I don't know if there's anyone who's watching these videos who's also new to the sport like myself. So, like for you guys who've been watching, let me know. Is there anything else that I have to know or I should know about Kyrie? But based on this video, yeah, look, do I say he's an asshole or is he a dickhead? No, I can't really say that. At the same time, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. He's not really rubbing it in anyone's face. He's not forcing his opinion on anyone. He's just, he's just out there, whether it be a podcast or an interview, speaking his mind. And of course, the internet being the internet, they like to pick on things. You have the keyboard warriors spreading misinformation and all that bullshit. But based on this video, he hasn't really done anything bad. So from that point of view, there's not much bad, nothing bad I can say. Other than that, injuries are a bitch to deal with. The majority of this year so far has been me recovering from injuries. So, they're not fun. And I'm sure anyone who's been watching and you've been injured at some point, they suck. And, he's missed he's missed quite a few games because of those nagging injuries that he's been dealing with. It's just a shame. It's, I guess, with sports, in general, I guess not in general, but like most sports, let's say basketball, soccer, the UFC, boxing, you know, you're gonna deal with injuries, right? It's just it's a shame that it takes years, months, important games like we saw with Tyrese Halliburton just a few days ago with the finals. It's a real shame. But look, man, Kyrie seemed like a great guy, right? It's just the way people choose to see him from the online's perspective, or from like behind, or like from what they read online and what they see in the videos and stuff, right? No one's gonna know who he truly is unless you actually know him in person, if that makes sense. So yeah, man, I mean, I like Kyrie. I've seen a few of his highlights as well in my own time. He's a great player, man. He's good at what he does. Yeah. Shout out to The Score, another great video. I think when it comes to story videos, I'll stick to The Score. I think Thinking Basketball is a good one as well. Post 2K, those three might be the ones I watch the most. If I'm not mistaken, Jimmy High Roller is more analytical. So I haven't seen a Jimmy High Roller video in a while. So I'll have a look around. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You know, if you've enjoyed this, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and let me know in the comments, who should I watch next? Not next, I have KD next, but who should I watch for a future video, or what should I watch for a future video? What event happened in basketball that you think might be cool for me to watch and react to, that others might enjoy as well? Also, if you want to be part of the Discord community, or if you just want to hang out with us in the Discord, sometimes we hang out there in a voice chat, play games, talk shit, have fun, or in streams as well. So if you guys want that, I'll leave the link in the bio, and I'll leave the link for this video in the bio as well. Now, until the next video, guys, you take care, stay safe, and keep on grinding. Never give up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Much love all. Bye!